Hi everyone, we're going to do some geography now. We're going to carry on from yesterday's lesson. So yesterday we explored different foods from different countries around the world, and today we are going to explore how the food we eat gets to the supermarket and then gets to our plate. So first of all, let's have a think. What did you eat for lunch today? I had a tuna sandwich. And what did you have for breakfast? I had an egg and some toast. And finally, what did you have for dinner last night, or were you going to have tonight? I had spaghetti carbonara last night, which was really yummy. So throughout the day we eat lots of different food, don't we? Different meals, different snacks and different drinks. And when we're at school we have snack time before play and lunchtime, and I see all of your exciting packed lunches or school dinners, and they're never the same, are they? We all get different food that come from different places. So not all the food that we eat at home or at school is grown or produced here in England or in the UK. When food travels around the world to get to us, we call this food miles. So the miles that the food has travelled to get to our plate from wherever it started off. And as we know, because we talked about it last term, aeroplanes and boats create gases that are harmful for the environment, and that's one of the contributing factors to global warming and things like we talked about last term. So our food miles can have a detrimental effect on the environment, a really bad effect on the environment. So it's important for us to know where our food is coming from. So first of all, we're going to watch a short clip that will hopefully explain a little bit more about food miles and what food miles are. So let's see if this works.
Wow, an egg? That's well cool.
It's actually quite warm. But here you go. You can take that back home for your tea. Not many food miles on that one.
What's a food mile?
It's the distance the food has to go from where it's produced to your plate. And for the sake of the environment, the less miles the better. You can work out your food miles quite easily. Which country does your meat come from at home?
Well, my mum buys Danish bacon, New Zealand lamb, Argentinian beef, but it's all good because we live less than 1 mile from the supermarket.
Just think how far those things are having to be transported to get to the supermarket. How much pollution and energy do you think it takes to transport all these animals? If an animal has travelled less, then that's less pollution and energy used. Some people like to buy from farmers and local shops to make sure their food is local. And if you grow your own fruit and veg in the garden at home, that's no food miles at all.
Okay, so that video talked about the food miles for the meat that the girl in the video has when she's at home. But it's not just meat, it's all foods and drinks that we consume. And so I know that during snack time, all of you have fruit or vegetables, most of you do, and either from school or you bring them in from home. And so we have things like apples, bananas, carrots, and so lots of those different fruits and vegetables have to be flown in from different countries because we either can't get them in England at the time, or just because there aren't enough, or because it's easier, and so they are flown in to the supermarket, which we then buy them from. So let's have a look at some of these fruits and vegetables and where they've come from.
Fruits are pretty great. For early humans, they served as delicious, calorie-rich foods that could be easily collected and eaten without any preparation. It's even been suggested that the ability to distinguish between red and green was evolutionarily selected for so that we could find fruits and tell if they were ripe or not. Of course, today, finding any fruit you want is as easy as going to the grocery store and finding the right aisle. Many of us might not even realize the fruits we eat might not come from the same country we live in or even the same continent. In fact, many of our favorite fruits originated in entirely different landscapes and climates, and today are grown thousands of miles away from our grocery stores. So let's take a look at the geography of our fruits. Starting us off, we have apples, which hail from the Central Asia region, around where the three countries of China, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan meet. Its wild ancestor, Malus sieversii, is still found throughout this region, and China remains the #1 world producer, accounting for 48% of the global apple production. The earliest records of apricots reach back to ancient Armenia. Its scientific name is literally Prunus armeniaca. Whether it originated here is disputed, with some suggesting India and China, but its theoretical range includes all of these places, and today Uzbekistan is the top producer. Avocados, sometimes called alligator pears, originated in south-central Mexico, specifically in Tehuacan Valley. Evidence shows locals have been eating the ancestors of avocados for up to 10,000 years, and to this day, Mexico remains the #1 producer in the world. Bananas and plantains, which are technically berries, got their beginnings in Indo-Malaya. The earliest record of their domestication likely comes from New Guinea from up to 10,000 years ago as well. Despite this, India holds the title as the top producer, with China close behind. The genus blueberries belong to, Vaccinium, occur all around the North Pole, but the ones we eat today come from North America, mostly the north and eastern parts of the United States and south-central Canada. So it's no surprise that the United States leads global blueberry production, with Canada coming in second. Okay, so cantaloupes are named after the...
Okay, we're going to stop there. So at the beginning it talked about apples and how apples come from 48% of apples, come from China, but we know that apples can be grown in England as well. When I was growing up, I had an apple tree in my back garden that my mum and dad looked after. And so what we're talking about is that although foods can be grown all over the country, along with all over the world, it's interesting to know where your food is coming from and what impact that is having on the environment. So let's have a look through. There we go. So we're going to have a look at some of the foods that we typically might buy from our local supermarkets. So on Sainsbury's website, I know we've all heard of Sainsbury's, even if you don't shop at Sainsbury's, we've all heard of Sainsbury's. So I'm going to look at their website to see if we can find out where these easy peelers have come from. So you can do this on most websites. I had a look at various different ones. And just like on the packaging, when it says where the item or the food has come from, it also says it on the website. So if you scroll all the way down, it says country of origin. So origin means just where it's originally come from. So these easy peelers were grown in Argentina, Peru, South Africa, or Spain. Now I know a lot of you have been to Spain on holiday because we talked about that last time as well, didn't we? So these oranges, that although they're in the supermarket that might only be down the road, have been on an aeroplane or a boat and travelled all that way that we did when we went on holiday there, from one of these countries just to get to our shop. So that's a really long way to get a satsuma or an orange. So like I said, not all fruits and vegetables can be grown in the UK. Sometimes they need different climates, like the video talked about. So the different climates, like in Africa, where it's warm and dry, compared to some of the climate in Europe that's wetter and colder, like we're having at the moment. If fruits or vegetables like mangoes or pineapples need a warmer climate, it's very difficult for them to grow in the UK. But it's important to know what we can get in the UK, and that using those foods instead of getting ones from around the world can have a much better impact on the environment, or not as bad. So what can we do to reduce our food miles then? So if you've got someone at home that you'd like to have a chat with about this, please pause the video now and you can have a discussion about what sort of things we could do to reduce our food miles, to make them less, to decrease our food miles. If you don't have somebody at home that you can talk to at the moment because they're busy, then you can either have a think on your own, or we can carry on with the video with me because I'm going to tell you some of the things that I came up with. Okay, so I thought checking the label when we are shopping in the supermarket is a really important way so that we can see where it's come from. So for example, picking up some mushrooms, it's on the packaging at the front, it will tell you where it has come from. And looking out for fruits and vegetables that have come from the UK is a really good way to see how many food miles it's going to have, or that it's going to have less food miles. So say it just, it's like I knew it was coming. Buying foods that have been produced in the UK. So on the front, when it says that label, that it says somewhere in the UK that it's been produced from, or that it's come from, means that the miles are going to be less because it's not had to travel as far. Eating what's in season. So that means fruits and vegetables that are growing well at that time of year. So although it's cold at the moment, some fruits and vegetables grow better in colder weather. But fruits and vegetables like strawberries, for example, grow better in sort of June and July in England when it's starting to get warmer. So there'll be more strawberries from England in June or July than there would be at the moment. So finding out which fruits and vegetables are in season so that we can use them from the UK rather than buying fruits or veg that are not in season in the UK and have to come from somewhere else. And finally, buying food from local farmers, not from supermarkets. So if you are able to, buying food from a farmer's market or from a farm itself means that it's not had to travel anywhere because it's most likely been produced on that plot of land, on that farm or on that area. So it's not really come from anywhere. And sorry, there was one more. Growing your own food. So that's something that if you've got a garden or an outside area that you're able to use, is something that we could all try. And I'm sure once we get into some warmer weather at school, we'll have a go at doing that as well. And of course, it doesn't have to travel anywhere because it's already at home with you, ready to eat, which is great. Okay, so finally then, your task today is to create a poster explaining how we can reduce the food miles and why it is so important. So have a look at some of these examples, have a look at what you like about these examples, and you can use that in your poster. Obviously, earlier on I told you some of the ways that I came up with that we could, things we could do to reduce our food miles. But if you were chatting with somebody at home and you came up with some different ones, include them as well. I'd love to see what you've been coming up with. Don't forget to add some colour to your posters if you can. If you've got colour pencils or felt tips at home, make them really interesting and have lots of pictures of fruit and vegetables or meat and some information about the food miles that we've discussed today and of course what we can do to reduce them. So please make sure you can send them in if you can. I'd love to see what you're doing and I will see you soon. All right, take care. Bye.